Hello and welcome back to another episode of Pie Guy and Brodeur. One voice, two minds. I'm your host, Pie Guy, and before we begin, always remember, you can find the rest of these spectacular episodes in this one-of-a-kind podcast on YouTube, on that Brodeurland channel, and of course, Spotify. Now, today on this episode, we're going to be talking about commitment. That's right. Can you stay committed? Can you commit to those promises you made to yourself? That's right. And we're going to explore this, and we're going to circle back with the help of the one, the only, Brodeur of Brodeurland, Mr. Brodeur. Hey, Pie Guy. That's right. Today we're going to be diving into this word commitment. And I'm really excited because I feel like as we have gone through a lot of different words of the weeks up until this point, you're going to start to see how commitment really embodies a lot of them, whether it's that perseverance aspect or resilience aspect or really reflecting back, right? And of course, as you explore more after this episode, you'll see how commitment can even be used with those later on words as well. So commitment right here in the middle of our words of the week really embodies and is used in so many aspects. So I'm really excited, Pie Guy, to dive on in. So let's get this show rolling. Sure thing, Mr. Brodeur. I like your excitement. And I really do like how, again, you stress the importance that these words are not meant to be separated. They're all meant to be wrapped up together, used together as building blocks that I think you brought up in an earlier episode that we talked about. Yes, Pie Guy, and that's the deal. Each episode is just another building block. Each word is just another building block. Take each one, keep building, push yourself so you can become that best version of yourself. That's the goal. That's the key. All right, Mr. Brodeur. So let's dive on in. And again, let's start like we always do. Well, Mr. Brodeur, what does it mean to be committed, right? How can I be successful by making commitments? Well, Pie Guy, here's the thing. To first start on this journey of better understanding the word commitment, we need to look at that Brodeurland definition, and it goes like this. Commitment is about sticking with the goals you set for yourself, giving your best effort every day, and pushing forward no matter what, because that's how you're going to grow, and that's how you're going to become that best version of yourself. So to me, Pie Guy, the most important aspect for commitment centers around being dedicated, sticking to those goals, and really following through. You cannot give up the moment you have a setback or things don't go your way. Definitely not. You got to learn from the adventure, that mission you're on, and keep marching forward to see those goals through and see that success come to life. All right, Mr. Brodeur. So can you please elaborate on this? Because I love this idea of being dedicated and even the following through part. So my question is, how does that look in our lives and in your life? Yeah, great question, Pie Guy. First, let's start with this quote. And it goes like this. When you are interested in doing something, you only do it when it's convenient. When you are committed to do something, you accept no excuses, only results. You see, Pie Guy, we all have interests. We all have hobbies. We all have things that we love to do in our lives. For me, I love hiking. I like taking a walk outside, really clearing my mind, right? I love running. I love watching, learning from documentaries and biographies, and even skateboarding. Whoa, hold your horses right there, Mr. Brodeur. Did you just say skateboarding? Well, Pie Guy, you heard that right. But here's the deal. Those things I listed out, even skateboarding included, and more like creating my songs, videos, stories. These are all hobbies. These are all interests. And that's great. But if you really want to get better at those hobbies, bring them to the next level, you have to start being committed and start being committed right now. You see, those hobbies, those interests, they're a great start. They tell us things we love to do that really get us excited in our lives. And the things we want to achieve or get better at. The problem is with hobbies and interests, we only tend to do them when we have time. For example, let's take skateboarding. I mentioned that before. You did, Mr. Brodeur, so my ears are all turned to you. I'm curious about this skateboarding stuff. Well, Pie Guy, I enjoyed skateboarding and rollerblading and all that in my youth. And so nowadays, as an adult, if I have time, I'll go with my son to the local skate park and we'll have a fun time. But in all honesty, I don't take it seriously. I'm not looking to go pro, right, Pie Guy? But now look at my videos, this podcast, my stories that I've written, right? Those were also hobbies. And I ran with those. Why? Because I pushed the limits. I made commitments with these goals, these videos, this podcast, these stories, these creations, right? And being committed means I'm not going to make an excuse or sit there and say, I don't have the time today, or I don't feel like it. No, being committed is all about pushing through, finding the time, and trying to get better. You have to see it through. You've got to follow through. That's the key. Whether you're talking about commitment, Pie Guy, or any of these other words of the week. I see, Mr. Brodeur. So commitment is not just, hey, I'll try this today, or I got some time, I'll go skate or have some fun, but more about I will make the time. I will find the time. I will see it through. No excuses and following through. And I guess what you could say is not just doing it when it's convenient. Exactly, Pie Guy. And for example, let's take a look at my videos for Brodeurland. At first, I thought, hey, when I got time, I will try to make a video for each word of the week. Something short, something simple, just when I got the time. But you see, when I really took off and really started making my mainstream videos, this podcast, and even my books, it was the moment when I wrote down my goals, set realistic timelines, and told myself, it is time to make these things happen. You know, for my books, I remember the night I had a breakthrough on my illustrations. I had the books written for quite some time, but I just couldn't figure out the illustrations. So one night I had time. I was playing around with AI and other helpful websites, to try to make something happen based off of what I wrote. And bam, I had a beautiful illustration made, which if you look at my book now, Luke the Leaf, it is actually the front cover. That front cover was the first illustration I ever got created. And I was like, bam, I got a breakthrough. And I remember that night staying up, creating more illustrations, then using Canva to edit, fix the images the way I wanted them. Maybe I wanted to magic erase something away, maybe duplicate something, and finally put the words on the images to really bring that story full circle. I pushed through the week and a couple of weeks and found the time and got creative. And before I knew it, I had a book all put together and made. It started with me playing around and working on my hobby and interests, but the moment I got committed, that's the moment I was able to finish the book. That's the moment it was all able to come together because I wasn't just doing it when it was convenient. I said, no, I'm getting this book. I'm getting these goals. I'm getting these interests and I'm making them come to life and seeing it be finished so I can use it to propel myself forward and help anybody that's in my way. Pie-tacular, Mr. Brodeur. I love hearing how you push through to see your ideas, your creations really come to life. It sounds like sometimes just playing around with ideas, I guess, can lead to or even motivate people, and looks like yourself, to really being committed. Exactly, Pie Guy. And the same can be said about my videos, my songs, and other creations. I can even think back to times when I was younger, skateboarding, playing soccer, playing in marching band, jazz band. Many times I had to make commitments, push through to learn tricks, to learn my marching band drill for the field. You are something else, Mr. Brodeur. Between skating, soccer, band, you were trying out everything, it seems like. You betcha, Pie Guy. And now there's another example I wanted to share, and that was my time in marching band. Exciting, Mr. Brodeur. So what is this example all about? So I was thinking back to this quote, Pie Guy, And it goes like this. It says, when confronted with a challenge, the committed heart will search for a solution. The undecided heart usually searches for an escape. In marching band, my junior year of high school, I played the bass clarinet. And I played this instrument since 7th grade for quite some time, right? So I was really good at this instrument. But during the summer, when we were learning drill, I ended up separated from the rest of the bass clarinets for most of that marching band show. I was stuck with the bari saxes in low brass. It seemed odd, so I asked my band director if I could learn the bari sax to fit in with the other instruments I was around throughout the whole marching band show. He said, okay, I'll give you a chance to try to learn the instrument, but if I couldn't do it within a week or two, I wouldn't be able to make the change. I'd have to stay playing the bass clarinet, which made sense, right? We don't have all the time in the world, and we got to make this show happen. So I became committed. And within a week or two, I learned how to play it. I got lucky because the fingerings for the instrument to our marching band music was exactly the same as the bass clarinet. And so all I had to do was learn how to breathe, blow into this instrument, and really make a nice sound. So, Mr. Brodeur, you picked up the bari sax in a week or two span? That's crazy. I did, Pie Guy, but I was committed. And I had a time frame, so I made it happen. And the cool thing is that opened the door for me to be a part of jazz band and really loving the instrument. So I ended up marching it the following year for my senior year. Mr. Brodeur, that is so cool. You were definitely committed and really set your mind to it. Amazing. Pie-tacular. And Pie Guy, here's the deal. As we embark on our own journeys to try new things, to improve on our interests and our own hobbies, and really try to bring our goals to life, we're going to hit challenges. We're going to hit roadblocks along the way. I did with the bari sax, with my videos, songs, Brodeurland creations, even my books. I couldn't make illustrations for quite some time, but these challenges become deciding factors. Are you going to quit? Are you going to give up? Even throw in the towel? Or are you going to stay committed? Are you going to keep pushing forward? You see, challenges are a beautiful thing, Pie Guy. Mr. Brodeur, why are they so beautiful? I feel like you always love these challenges or when things get rough. I feel like to me, they're pretty scary, to be quite honest, Mr. Brodeur. Yes, Pie Guy. And to be honest, in the moment, I hate them. I do. But I remind myself of all the times in the past where if I embrace the challenge, if I embrace the moments, if I embrace those times where I'm going to have to grind through it, I know that if I find those solutions to these challenges, not only will I move closer to achieving my own goals, but I can become a better person. Because here's the deal, Pie Guy. It's not all about achieving the goals as much as it is about who do you have to become to achieve that goal. That's the beautiful part to being committed. You can't just stumble in and achieve your goals just accidentally, right? No, you have to grow. You have to mold into a better version of yourself. That's the beautiful part of really staying committed. You have to persevere. You have to be resilient, and you have to reflect on your journey. Now, Mr. Brodeur, there you go again, blending all these words of the week together. I love this because, again, like we mentioned earlier in this episode, they're the building blocks. And I love the point you shared that it's not all about achieving your goals, but what you said a little bit ago is it's more about who do you have to become to achieve those goals. And you said it's not an accident. You got to really be committed. You really have to push yourself forward. Yes, Pie Guy. And I believe we talked about this with goal setting, but it rings true here with commitment and, of course, many of the other words of the week. Focus more on your growth and bettering yourself and your character. Then you do your job, your mission, and that task at hand. It may seem weird, but when you do that, in turn, it will naturally lead to you achieving those goals and getting better at that job or that thing that you're trying to achieve. I love it, Mr. Brodeur. Now, here's the deal, though. We are getting to that time where we do need to wrap things up. So is there anything else you would like to share before we have to go? Well, Pie Guy, the point I just shared a little bit ago about focusing on bettering yourself and it's all about who you have to become rather than the goal that you're trying to achieve, that comes from Jim Rohn. Now, you may be thinking, who's Jim Rohn? Yeah, Mr. Brodeur, who is Jim Rohn? Well, Pie Guy, he's one of these motivational people where I've watched many of his seminars, videos, teachings. I've written down tons of his own quotes and things of that nature. And I love watching his videos and the way he thinks and the way he explains. Back in the day when he was still alive and sharing all of his Jim Rohn wisdom. And so what better way, Pie Guy, than to finish with a quote from Jim Rohn himself? Oh, I love it, Mr. Brodeur. Sounds good. Let's hear it. So, Pie Guy, Jim Rohn said this. He said, motivation is what gets you started, but commitment is what keeps you going. Motivation is one of the key aspects, of course, to sparking our interest, to really pushing us along that journey of life, to where we are trying to achieve our goals and, of course, find success. The problem with motivation, and I think we've mentioned this before in previous episodes, is it's only temporary. It's a kickstart. It's a spark. However, a lot of times those things fade away, right? They're not going to be there permanently. Motivation sometimes, it works in the moment, but it's hard to keep up, right? And that's when commitment really chimes in, comes forth. Commitment is all about taking that energy, taking that motivation, and really utilizing it as fuel for yourself so you can move forward. And reminding yourself, what is it that I promised myself? What were those goals I was trying to achieve? What was that why behind it? Why am I doing it? And that way, when I hit those dry spells, in those difficult times, in those moments, and of course, going through the grind, I can use that commitment to remind myself, hey, this is my why. This is why I'm doing it. This is what I'm going for. And this is the promise I made to myself. And sure, along the way, you can sprinkle some motivation to keep you energized, to keep you motivated, to keep you going, right? I had to do this plenty of times while making the Brodeurland videos, while writing my books, while even getting this podcast situated, right? And still keep moving on because we still got more words of the week to record and talk about, Pie Guy. We sure do, Mr. Brodeur. But Pie Guy, at the end of the day, you have to be committed. You have to be motivated. You got to push yourself forward. Be committed to yourself and tell yourself, you've got this. You're capable. Pie-tacular, Mr. Brodeur. I love it. Don't live on motivation, but use it to energize you so you can stay committed. Keep growing yourself so we can all reach those goals of ours. Perfect, pie-tacular. I love it. And remember, my friends, stay infinite. Don't put limits on yourself. Expand those horizons. And Mr. Brodeur, if you could, finish us in style. Sure thing, Pie Guy. So always remember, you all make each day a special day by just you being you. There's no one in the whole world like you except you. And I like you just the way you truly are. It's good that you exist, but you got to go out there. You've got to be committed. You've got to tell yourself, I've got this. And seek through, follow through, and be determined so you can become that best version of yourself. So until next time, Brodeur out. Peace.